Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in today's video we have a Mythic Plus status update for the week of April 13th here on the 10.1 PTR. A lot of big stuff in this one, so let's get into it. Greetings! As we continue to watch everyone play M+, we want to share additional changes to this week's PTR. Our changes this week aim to further lessen the impact of affixes on Mythic Plus dungeon gameplay and to match our more challenging affixes to later keystone levels as players progress through the system. Now, this lessening the impact is something I feel like people, especially if you, depending on how you engage with M+, this is maybe something that is going to sound like potentially a bad thing. To me, I think this is moving the affixes in a pretty good direction to make them a little bit less impactful, because several of them felt like you were playing the affix rather than playing the dungeon. And I think the changes that we have here are going to do a great job of making that not the case anymore. So, all right, we've been evaluating our affix tiers and their impact. While we feel the change to bring them at 7 and 14 instead of 4 and 7 is healthy, we wanted to also ensure that the right level of challenge is coming online at levels 7 and 14. We feel our 7 affixes have a larger impact on the moment-to-moment gameplay and have decided to switch them. So the periodic affixes are now moved to level 7, and it's nice they also are adding sort of themed affixes. There already was sort of this, but they've now cemented it, and so they're going to have Afflicted, Incorporeal, Volcanic, Entangling, and Storming, all at the level 7 level, and all of these, something these affixes all have in common is that they spawn, like these are things that happen periodically while you're in combat, right? And note that Volcanic is here now instead of Explosive. Explosive has been retired for Dragonflight Season 2 and replaced by Volcanic. Massive dub, I think, for this set of changes here. Look, Volcanic, everybody that I know likes playing the game the most on Volcanic Week. Now, I can understand that Blizzard might want to not have an affix that kind of doesn't do all that much, right? And that is largely, you know, especially everybody that's not a ranged DPS, right? Like a ranged DPS that wants to plant or a healer gets to just completely ignore that affix pretty much. And even those players, you know, can be pretty minimally impacted by it. So I could understand why they would want to replace it to bring the affixes, kind of have them all be closer. But I'm really glad that they're not doing it right now and getting Explosive gone instead, because I have so much fun playing the game on Volcanic Weeks, and that already wasn't true on Explosive Weeks before, and it was becoming a lot less true with the changes that they'd made to Explosive into the 10.1 PTR. Now, they had been bringing Explosive, I think, in a good direction in the last few weeks. I think that the changes that they were making to it were positive, but and if they were to revisit it and keep moving it in that direction, I think it could be a good affix. But for now, this is just great news for my excitement about the season. Like, this is the sort of like Mythic Plus is back on the menu type thing here. But anyways, so the periodic affixes are coming in at 7, and then the on death affixes or health ranges have been moved to level 14. That's the theme here. It's all on death affixes except for raging, which is a health range affix, I guess. Okay, so in addition, we've also reviewed the impact of our affixes and made tuning adjustments with the goal of lessening their overall impact on dungeon gameplay. Explosive is gone. Incorporeal beings now fade away when combat with non-incorporeal beings has ended. This is really nice. This is just, if you haven't played on PTR, this is just huge quality of life, right? Like, you start a pack, or you finish a pack in the last, like, 5 seconds, and incorporeal spawns, and you just can't mount up for the next 15 seconds, and you have to, like, you know, CC that incorporeal still, and that was a big pain, so they are removing that, which is really, really good. That was something they said they were going to look into doing, and it seemed like an obvious thing to do, and they've done it. That's really good. Entangling, they've nerfed the snare effect down to 30% from 50, which is actually a reasonably sized nerf, because that gives you a lot of benefits, right? Entangling is this affix where it procs, and you have 8 seconds to get out of it. The less that you're snared, the less time that you have to spend moving, which also means the later that you can react to this affix and still successfully break your snare. So that's really nice. It also now has a visual indicating the maximum range of the vine, so it will show you how far you need to go to break it, right? It'll probably put like a circle on the ground that, you know, if you cross the line on the circle, you'll break the vine. And then it also has a distinct sound cue when applied to players. which is fantastic. This is the sort of thing that the affix needed to avoid the like 95% weak aura usage against it that was otherwise definitely coming. Afflicted. Afflicted Soul's health no longer scales after Keystone level 20. This is another fantastic change here. Afflicted, it is this affix where these friendly mobs spawn, you have to either dispel or heal them. But particularly at those very high key levels, those health pools started to get really, really beefy. And, you know, the skill of being like an insane healer, a really, really sick healer, it's not like their healing globals do twice as much healing as a less skilled healer, right? It's just that they're like better at choosing where to go. Obviously, like they're going to pick the better globals as well, but prioritizing what stuff to do is something they're better at. But it means that you sort of get to this level where it's like, okay, you know, if these Afflicted Souls are going to take me 5 globals to top, right? Like, there's kind of no option for handling that on harder pulls except for just having a bunch of off dispels in the group so that you can just dispel the Afflicted. So capping the scaling here at level 20 is going to be really nice for making this a week that you can push on without feeling like you cannot play those dungeons at high levels without just having the ability to dispel every single Afflicted that spawns. Obviously, that's still going to be the best way to handle the affix, which is fine. It should be the best way to handle the affix. All right, level 14 now. Spiteful Shade's melee damage reduced by 10%. These things melee, I mean, that's nice. That's nice. You know, 1 key level less of damage on the Spiteful Shades. But here's the big one. Their health and damage no longer scale after Keystone level 20. Now, I don't know if this is going to be enough to mean that they won't one-shot players past level 20. I suspect it means they probably, like this combined with the 10% damage nerf, probably means that, yeah, you're never really going to get one-shot by these things anymore if you're doing keys at kind of any level, unless you're severely undergeared. You're probably still getting 2-shot by these things if your key is, you know, much higher than 14, and you're not like a character with a boatload of armor. So yeah, this also seems good. Spiteful Shades always kind of felt to me like it was a little bit too binary, right? They would connect with you once and you would die, and or if you would kite them and nothing would happen, right? And yeah, I've always felt like the punishment should be a little bit more granular for getting spiteful. Okay, then Raging. Raging has been redesigned here. It now grants creatures immunity to CC effects for 20 seconds upon reaching 30% health. It was 50% increased damage done. So this one's tough to evaluate. There are going to be some nasty pulls, right? Where you want to stop mobs, particularly mobs that do something that is lethal but not interruptible, because presumably these are going to still be interruptible. Obviously, we can't tell from just this text. It'll be testable soon on PTR, and we'll be able to see. But I assume that these mobs will be interruptible but not CCable below 30% health. I actually think this is pretty good. I think a caveat to this is that it's going to be really obnoxious if there are mobs that say every 15 seconds need to get stunned. Those mobs, I think, should probably not be affected by Raging. I guess you can still soothe it off, though, on those characters and then stun them. So, and a lot of the, most groups are going to have access to one soothe effect. You've got evokers, druids, rogues, right? Hunters that can all do it. So, I think this is going to be cool. I mean, it means that as a tank, you're not going to be in danger because the mobs are hitting you really hard at the end of the pull, but you are going to be in danger because the mobs are, first of all, you can't just shockwave them to stop them from autoing you for a few seconds, right? You can't AoE stun them to run away or anything like that. Tentatively, I think this is going to be a cool change. I'm excited to play with this one. Yeah, this affix, it was tough because they had to keep nerfing this percent here. This used to be 100, then it was 75, then it was 50, and I think it was in an okay place at 50. But I think this was a cool affix for them to give another try to. Bolstering. Bolster no longer increases the health of affected enemies. Was health and damage. Wow. So bolstering is another affix that has just received several gutting nerfs to it over the course of its existence. It used to be multiplicative and permanent. Then it used to be permanent but not multiplicative. And then it used to be like 20% instead of 15%. It used to affect bosses. Now it's just going to affect health instead of health and damage. I think it's just going to affect damage, not health, and not health, right? So it no longer increases the health, so it's still going to increase the damage. I think this is cool. I think this is really cool because, like, you know, in some spots this is going to be kind of annoying to be like a tank or healer because now your DPS, the thing that they cared about bolstering was that the mobs took longer to kill, right? Um, and now they might just not, and you're going to have to deal with mobs autoing you really hard at the end of pulls and stuff. But I just think this is going to make bolstering a lot more fun to play. It's going to make it a lot less restrictive. It's going to open up some more counterplay to it where you can, kite the end of a pull or something like that, and it's still a time gain to combine multiple packs together. Chaining is now something that has a risk reward trade off, chain pulling, rather than before where it was basically just always a mistake to chain pull at the end of bolstering pulls, right? I mean, sometimes it was not a mistake and people didn't consider it when they should have, but it was still extremely punishing to chain pull, and now it is It's risky, but it's rewarding to chain pull. So that I think is sweet. I think this is a really good change to this affix, and I'm just super super stoked to see this one. And then Sanguine puddles now last for 12 seconds. Was 20 Sanguine. So again, historian Dratnos here. Sanguine and Legion used to take 5 seconds to arm, and it was a really small puddle. Then going into BFA, they were like, okay, this affix doesn't do anything. We're going to make the puddle twice as big, and we're going to make it spawn quicker, and we're going to make it stack, so multiple Sanguine puddles is super healing and damage. Then, since then, they've kind of tuned the affix back, and they took it from 60 seconds down to 20, and now they're taking it down to 12. I personally still don't think that this is the right way to make Sanguine less impactful. Because I feel like 12, a mob's still going to full heal if it's bathing in Sanguine for, 5 of those 12, right? And the fail case of Sanguine is CC immune mobs that bathe in Sanguine and full heal. There is obviously counterplay to that, and it feels rewarding and good as a tank to predict to play around the Sanguine and avoid the Sanguine healing. I did a lot of pushing this season on Sanguine week, and it was, difficult but fun to do that for me. But it still does feel like it's a little bit too binary, again, in the same way that Spiteful, right? It's like, if I have my CC immune mob and it stands in Sanguine Puddle, and it goes from 30% health to 50% health, I feel like that would be punishing enough. But going from 30% to 100% health while it's standing there channeling its stupid cast, the whole group's looking at it, everybody's getting mad at the tank. That is something that I feel like is the problem with the affix, and I don't think that the 12 to 20 change does too much to change that. So I think this is mostly not a super impactful change to the affix. The times where it will be relevant, obviously it's going to be nice that it goes away sooner. Rooms will be less polluted for less time. But the change that I would have rather seen to this is Sanguine Puddles getting smaller and getting consumed as they heal or damage enemy things. And once they've done a certain cap of, maybe a percentage of the health of the mob that spawned it, or just a certain cap, a static cap based on key level, then the puddle just disappears. And that way, if you Sanguine up a big CC immune guy with multiple mobs, it's still just going to full heal. But if you just kill one mob by accident and the, lieutenant's pinky toe is touching the Sanguine, it just drains it up a little bit, and then the puddle's small enough that it's no longer in it. Or if it's in the middle of it, the puddle goes away fully, but it still only heals for 20 or 30% of its health instead of 70%. And that would be, I think that would be the better change to the affix, but I don't think this affix is one of the outliers right now, and I think this is a good, if small, change to the affix. And overall, this post has dramatically restored my excitement about Season 2 Mythic Plus, because, man, there was shaky there when they posted the first set of changes that was basically like, hey, we've been cooking some new affixes. Here they are, and it was just whammy after whammy. But this seems really good. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to playing with these things on PTR. Looking forward to playing the season on live. Kind of, a lot of these changes, it's gonna mean that I kind of can't imagine awful weeks between these two rows anymore. I think I'm just gonna want to do keys every week, and a lot of pressure is going to be on the dungeon mechanics themselves being good as well, and there's some work to be done in some of them on that, I think. But yeah, this is for me at least really an optimism inspiring post. Now obviously Optimism comes easily to me, but this still, I don't know. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you've enjoyed this video going through these things. Let me know in the comments as well, you know, when I do these videos, if you liked or didn't like the sort of historian bits where I talked about what's happened with these affixes before, or if you'd rather just cut those things out. I don't know. Always looking for feedback on those sorts of things. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 100,000 so I can get a plaque mailed to me. That'd be really cool. That'd be something I could put it on my wall. Be really neat. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Bye.